the best example of me finding a jacket and in a secondhand store called Aardvarks on Melrose. It was a snakeskin jacket, and I said, I know I'm going to use this in a movie at some point because Marlon Brando wore a snakeskin jacket in The Fugitive kind. And then I went to rehearsals for Wild at Heart, and I said, David, I want to wear this snakeskin jacket. So he wrote a beautiful line for it. This is a snakeskin jacket. It's a symbol of my belief in my individuality and my personal freedom. And then I added some Elvis-like tonality to the character, so it was my Warhol expression as a film actor, how to tie in Brando, Elvis, and me, and Andy all in one go.
Does David have a nickname for you?
Nixter. Nixter? That was solid gold, buddy. I had a great time in Cannes, except that the president's wife demanded that I sing Love Me Tender to her at Cannes in front of everybody at a long table, everyone dressed black tie, and I was mortified. I didn't want to do it. I was frozen. And David said, Nixter, you get right up there right now on that table and you sing that song, buddy. And he started smacking the table with his hand. So I jumped up on the table and I could see Willem Dafoe going like this as I was singing. And I was so nervous, like an eggshell quaver to my voice. And then, but David got the Palme d'Or. So I like to think that my fractured singing tonality helped him win the award. My name is Nicolas Cage. The name of the movie is Dream Scenario. It's one of my 5 favorite scripts I've ever read in 45 years of doing this. The other 4 are Vampire's Kiss, Leaving Las Vegas, Adaptation, and Raising Arizona. These are the scripts that I didn't want to change a word. I loved erasing so-called Nick Cage. I loved creating Paul Matthews and having it be an enormous departure from myself, physically anyway. I don't do any kind of dream journal, although sometimes I will not know how to play a scene and I'll go to bed and I'll have a dream and I'll wake up in the morning and I'll go, now I know how to play the scene. In that way they can be like gifts. Sometimes I have a dream and I put it into the character, the residual feeling of the dream. If it's a sad dream and I'm doing a sad scene, I can carry forth with that feeling that I have from the sad dream. I was working as an usher at the Fairfax movie theater. I got the tickets and I sold the popcorn, and I would stand in the back of the movie theater and try to figure out how I could go from the back of the cinema to the screen. That was the mantra. That was the meditation. Wow. I was auditioning. I was in high school, and I went out, and my first job I ever booked was a George Schlatter production called Best of Times. I can go on record saying that George Schlatter discovered me.
Wow.
But it was Martha Coolidge who, without Martha Coolidge from Valley Girl, so-called Nicolas Cage would not exist. She was the one that gave me the confidence and empowered me to go forth. Without her, I wouldn't be talking with you today. Well, what about my cinematic crush? You want to hear that? Barbara Eden from I Dream of Jeannie. I wanted to be in the bottle with her and play cards or something. I loved her performance. She was so charming and so witty and funny. I'm a huge admirer of Margot Robbie. She's one of my favorite actors. I hope she gets it this year.
Did you love Barbie?
I loved it. I don't remember my first red carpet, but I do remember I was dressed in a Brooks Brothers tuxedo for the Academy Awards, which was, most people weren't wearing Brooks Brothers. They were wearing Armani and whatnot, but my stylist thought she wanted a real Brooks Brothers look, and I did that. And I felt like I snuck into the Oscars. I wasn't totally comfortable with wearing tuxedos at that point in my life. I look to people that I admire, like Prince, and also I try to find clothing that I think matches my expression in filmmaking. I can go with a more maximalist style of filmmaking performance, or I can go with a more minimalist style. The New Yorker said I'm like lasagna. Well, sometimes I can be like Meguro sashimi and shishito peppers. I like to do both. Well, I remember once I was in Austin, Texas, and Robert Plant walked into an oyster house, and he looked terrific. He looked like he did in the 70s, and he had a burgundy metallic suit on, and I wanted to say hi, and I found that my words didn't form. I guess that's kind of like starstruck.
And then
I don't have that particular suit, but I am enjoying this sort of Ben Vereen and all that jazz black glitter jacket. I think I was about 9, and my family sent me away to a YMCA camp. I was in my sleeping bag, and the camp counselor lit the fire, and everyone went to sleep, and a young girl was tapping on my shoulder and woke me, and then she put her arms around me and kissed me, and I felt great. It was like, what's happening? I was like, she was 9 too. I was like, wow, am I a man? I'm a Capricorn. When I look at an image of a Capricorn, it's half goat, half fish. And I like that because it means I can be on land or I can be in the water. It's a good metaphor for anything, really. Duality of life and all the parts I play.